Well, hello, and welcome back. I hit the button early today because, well, every minute counts, as you know. So, a couple of things. First off, the new book arrived, Rust for Rustaceans. Hopefully I actually read it. The last one, I got a few chapters in, the programming Rust here. But I guess it's kind of big and it feels daunting. So anyway, this one's nice and thin, and I've already read the first one. And the programming Rust, I wanted to read it because it's just a different perspective. I wanted to see somebody else's take on it. But yeah, and I still have Programming Go too that I haven't read. But that one I haven't read because Go's so simple. It's like I don't need to understand very much about it to understand it. Anyway, that all out of the way. Nice to see you all again. Welcome. Let me make sure I've got the chat open here. I'm trying to get things set up nicely so that out of these like 5 monitors I have, I can... There we go. So chat's up right there. We're trying out Jitsi today. So if you're in Jitsi, just stay muted, I guess, please. But I'm trying to watch the chat. We'll see how it all goes. Anyway, I don't have much time, so let's just jump straight into it. But first, of course, as always, a word from our sponsor, but not really our sponsor. Hey, what's up? How's it going, Johannes? Mr. Mountain Dew. Pop it up, my friends, because it's time to... Catchphrase, open focus. All right. I'm getting better at not spilling on myself. Okay, so JavaScript and Go pair really well together. So this should actually be quite simple. I've got an implementation. There are lots of base62 implementations, but I think that they're basically all the same. So I don't know why there are so many, because my understanding... if people are telling me the truth, is that base62 is a fairly standard algorithm and there's not really much of a way to screw it up. You just, I guess there's a kind of a generic algorithm for just converting from any base to any other base, which that makes sense mathematically. So we're going to take this Go code. It looks pretty simple and straightforward, and we're going to see if we can encode a buffer in JavaScript using this Go code, and it should be a pretty easy transition. So I'm just going to copy this here, and then let's go ahead and start off. Let's see. I'll put this in projects root. I'm going to make a directory base62.js. Now I mentioned this before. Nobody took me up on it, right? So there's a bunch of base62 libraries in JavaScript already, but what they're focused on is on being able to do integers. I don't really care about doing integers. I want to be able to take a buffer and transfer that. That's what I actually care about. And Johannes says everything's good. How about you? I'm doing well. I'm finally getting over the sore throat, I think. It's been kind of annoying. So we're going to call this base62.js. Yeah, I'm going to throw that in there. Okay, so this is what I was talking about, right? Earlier, I said this a couple weeks ago. I said, hey, this should be a good project because GitHub just came out with this new token format. And somebody, whoops, not Bliss. Whoops, hold on here. Base, let me get that right. base62.js.org. So nobody has claimed base62.js.org. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it with this... my goal is I want to use tokens like this for us the way that it's described here. I'm not going to go over the whole thing because I need to get into the code, but I just want to show you how easy this is going to be. Famous last words, but we're going to do this. We're going to call this. So first of all, I'm just going to translate this pretty straight. We can do let base62 equals module.exports, and this I'm just going to comment out, because that is as it is. This, I can actually just put commas after each of these, and now that will work. So let me get rid of that there, and I guess I can turn that into parenthesis. Okay, now that's technically correct. Type encoding struct. So this is going to be more JS doc, is what this is going to end up being. So I think what I can do here is we'll just say, what has it got at? What I think it's typedef. Is that what we're doing? At typedef, we're going to call this encoding. And then what is it at? Property? I forget. I think it's at property. What have we got here? Bytes. Okay, encode base. Okay, whatever the base is, that's how many bytes there are. Does that make sense? Hold on, base62. So encode, and then this is what then? This is a size. This is an array. Okay, so let me do it this way. So this is a special. Essentially, this is a uint8 array. Uint8 array. That's what a byte is, called encode. Am I doing this right or am I doing it wrong? Somebody correct me here. I'm not doing JSDoc often enough to get everything correct. But you know what? This is what I should do. I should just do it like this. This is the better syntax anyway. So we're going to do it this way. Encode, uint8 array, and then decode map. And then this is also going to be, technically it's a uint8 array. I don't know if I actually want to do it that way, but we'll see. Oh yeah, and I'm going to have to do something. All right, so this is basically just a type def. That's all we need there. We don't actually need any code. But I mean, I guess I could put in here, sure, this is, base length in bytes is same as base. 62 in this case. So we could probably turn this into an implementation that will do arbitrary bases, but then we'd have to do some more stuff with the bit masking or whatever, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. And then this is what? Decode map. Oh, okay. Decode map is 256. Length is 256 because 256, because that's 8 times 8. No, not 8 times 8. It's because 2 to the power of 8. That's why. Okay, cool. I have taken a look at this before, but okay, so we want encoder.length probably. I don't know what encoder is coming here. Oh, string length. Ugh. Let's see. New encoding returns. Oh, okay. No, this is fine because this encoder is actually, this shouldn't be called encoder. This should be called alphabet. So let's clean that up real quick. Let's just call this. Let's go from encoder to call it alpha. Or it's not the alphabet. It's the. Okay, sorry. I'm thinking multiple things here. The way this is. Let me make this a little more clear. Hey, how's it going, Forge God? Am I saying that right? Is it ForGod VII 7? Okay. So I'm converting some Go code into JavaScript code. Now let's see. It says the encoder is a string. A new encoder is a string. So I don't like that being called encoder. So I'm just gonna say this is more the dictionary. I don't know what else to call it, but it's not, even dictionary doesn't quite make sense, but it's definitely not the encoder. It's the available character set. Maybe we could call it char set. Let's do that instead. Instead of calling it dict, let's call it char set. Chars, maybe? Just chars? I don't know. What did I do? Okay. So, and we're going to call this function. And essentially, I'm just gonna say this is base62 dot create encoder. So let's say create encoder. No, okay, wait. I know what this is supposed to be. Never mind. This is because sorry, I was jumping ahead. This is because it's creating an alphabet. Yeah. Returns a new encoding defined by the given alphabet, which must be 62-byte string that does not contain that. Okay, yeah, I get that. And then when we say that it returns encoding, then this is what we're doing. We're saying at param, and then it's going to be, I guess, string, and then we call that chars, and then at returns encoding. I think that's what this is supposed to be. Yeah. And I probably should just, while I'm working through this, let's just section off everything else if we can. I think we can. All right, let me check over comments. For God. For God. Oh, I get it now. So like as for God as in pro God, as in I am for God. That's cool. Let's see, base62 create encoding. I don't know if this is actually going to do the right thing. We don't need to have an explicit return because it's JavaScript. And then one thing that we got to do, I could almost write a little tool to do the refactoring on this because it's pretty darn similar. I think for pure algorithms, it should be pretty easy to write a tool from any language to any other language. But the biggest thing in Go is that you have to put in a bunch of parentheses and turn the colon equals into a let or some such. All right. There's no way that I'm getting this done in the next 20 minutes, but we'll get as far as we can. All right, and this should be throw new error. And then this would be .length, because that's a safe assumption. So the assumption is that must be ASCII characters. Single byte ASCII characters, not UTF-8. All right, returns encoding. And so what are we doing here? Why is it complaining about this? Missing semicolon? Okay, let's just save and see if it'll insert things. Failed to parse buffer. Oh, because this if doesn't have parens around it. Let's see what else is missing parens. Probably some other things are missing parens. Unexpected token where? What is it complaining about? Missing semicolon. Panic is not defined. Yeah. We can just replace all instances of panic real quick. Panic is throw new error. No, okay, there's no more panic. All right, what is this complaining about? Const is available. Let's see. I need to copy real quick so that I'm not getting all these errors. I need to copy my JS hint. Oh, let me take a look at this one here. Hold on just one second. Okay. And hold on. This is out of order here. This is supposed to be on this side. Yeah. If I remember correctly. Okay. And then I think I can do the same thing with the prettier RC. Do I have a prettier? Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna copy that one from the home directory to here. And then let's get back into that code. Okay. What was it complaining about? Compact mask is defined but never used. Yeah, that's not a problem. We're gonna get there. Okay, and then yeah, this is fine. This some of the stuff I just wish it would. I wish I had a nice way to just auto do it. We don't have len. Instead, we have .length. Okay, new encoding is basically all this is saying is give me an object, right? Well, I guess this should. What do we have here? Encode is a uint8 array. That's going to be of size 62, right? So let me see. Let me see if I can get this right. So encode. Let me see what else we got here. Speaking of Go, can you recommend some good resources for learning Go? I absolutely can recommend good resources for learning Go. That is one of the easiest languages to recommend good resources for because there are so few. But I mean that in a good way. There are so few, as in the resources are, there's a few super distinct resources. So creedsofcraftsmanship.com, I've got several Go talks up there, and I recommend watching the talks from the people who've actually worked in Go. There's going to be Go by example. Let me go ahead. Yep, Go by example. You can kind of start at Hello World and go from anywhere there. There is Your Basic. Let me grab that link. And then, of course, the first thing that you should go to is the book, Effective Go. It's a rather short book. And then, yeah, there's the stuff that's on creedsofcraftsmanship.com. I highly recommend looking at the talks that are from people that are, because some of them I put them as software engineering talks, but they're actually Go talks as well. So if you want to take a look at that, yeah, this is the good thing about Go is there's not like 100 million sites that you have to sift through. These are the sites that are going to come up over and over and over and over again. And the talks that I've curated are ones that are fairly popular. You are welcome. You are welcome. Okay. So this needs to be a Uint8 array that's of size 62. Now, I don't quite remember how to do that. Let me bring up another thing here. This is one of those things that I just don't remember. Is it array buffer? And then I tell it U8 contents. How do I fill it? That's the question. I want to give it a particular length. New Uint8 array. Oh, so I do tell it what the size I want here, right? Yes. Okay. New Uint8 array, and then I give it the size. Because this has worked differently in different versions of JavaScript. So they now have a dot from, and there's just weird stuff that goes on in the JavaScript world. Okay, so we need a Uint8 array. And since this is kind of funny, I might actually want to have a function that is that creates this, and then decode map is 256. So decode map 256. All right. And then what are we trying to do here? I think we're just trying to say, can we? Okay, I think I know what we're trying to do. I don't think that's the right approach. Uint8 array dot from, and then can I give it 1, 2, 6, 7? Is that going to work? Yes, that is going to work. So what we actually want here, if we want to copy into this slice, but we're going to do a JavaScript child, it would be chars split. So we could do a trim just for good measure, although that shouldn't matter. I'll leave that out of there. That's a bug if it's there. So we could do e.encode equals new uint8 array dot from chars dot split. So that's what we got. I'm just going to put this as null, and then we'll fill it in. Or rather, no, I don't need to put it in as null. We can just put it in right here. Boom, this is it. All right, cool. So that's that. And then, all right, so decode map dot length. So let's just double check on this. Var a equals uint8 array, and we want to do new on this one. So 256. I'm pretty sure that we have .length there because there's .length and then there's .byte length. And they should be the same for uint8 array, and they are. Yeah, if you get into the other size arrays, they can be different because you could have different numbers. Okay. We need to get you a sub button on Twitch. Get a consistent 3 viewers in here and you'll get your sub button. So that's not something that I'm optimizing for. It's not. I would love that. That'd be awesome. But I don't know. I'm just doing what I'm doing. And however it turns out at this point is however it turns out. However, I do want to do... I want to get part of my perhaps New Year's resolution is to get back to doing structured content, because I was doing that for a while, and that was kind of why I started Beyond Code, was to do structured content, and I've ended up doing mostly unstructured content. And so I do want to get back to that, and I think that'll increase viewership. But I'm not really clear on how Twitch works. I've said this many times before. I don't really understand the Twitch community. I don't know that I'm a Twitcher as much as I just happen to be publishing to Twitch. But, you know, give me your feedback and thoughts on how to accomplish that, and I'm open to it. I think it's a worthwhile thing to do. Okay, so we've got chars I. This should work. This should work whether we're doing it as a string or whatever else. Why does it not like this return? Just the missing semicolon? But something else has gone wrong. Otherwise, it would add the missing semicolon. Okay. Missing semicolon, missing semicolon. Where's the syntax error? Missing semicolon. Is there a syntax error somewhere? Because it's not willing to write the file, or it's not willing to prettier the file, which tells me I'm just going to try writing prettier on it real quick. Ah, there it goes. Understood. I'm surprised that that didn't throw an error right there. So here we are. Okay, cool. So now that's our create encoding, but not our create encoder. That's fine. All right, now we need to have... Okay, base, let's see, this is an encoding. So that string that's an encoding. Wait, is that? No, this is creating the encoding. It wants it to have, okay, got it. So we're going to bring this encode function into here. Let's see, encode to string. Do I want that encode function in here? I'm just going to go straight down and then I'll optimize it later. So let's go ahead. Let's say that e.encode, we'll do it lowercase, whoops, encode equals, well, let's see. It already has this thing called encode. Encoding. I think this should be encoded, maybe? I'm not really sure what that is supposed to be. I guess we'll find out later. But the problem here is that, yeah, I don't like the way this is shaping out. I think I'm going to skip down to, where's the important part here? Encoder, next. This next is really important, and this encode function is really important. So these are the two super important functions, and the other stuff is a little bit fluff. There's just kind of... So, I mean, let's take a look at this for a second. So it's taking some source bytes and then it's creating an encoder and then encoding them and then returning bytes. So we don't really need to create a new encoder. Where's new encoder? Function new encoder is down here. So yeah, all this is doing is creating a position. I guess that's kind of important. Let me just go with this for a second. Okay. Here's the most important parts. Oops. Right there. Okay, let me go check. Oh, switching to Twitch to contribute to viewers on Twitch. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hello from the other side. Twitch's TV mode is way better than the one from YouTube with the chat beside the stream. Well, that makes sense because Twitch is for streaming, whereas YouTube picked it up as a, after the fact. Okay. So now we got this encoder type. So let's do, again, this is just type def, and then at, no. I want to do type def like this, yeah? Wait, didn't I just type def this? This is an encoding, and this is an encoder. Got it. All right, so here we're going to have source, and it's going to be uint8 array. And then we're going to have position, and it's going to be number. All right, so that takes care of that. All right, base62.create encoder. And the other one is create encoding, right? Create encoding, and this is create encoder. All right, I'll take that for now. I'm going to make this more JavaScripty later, but just, for the time being, let me work with what I got. All right, so this is at param source uint8 array. And I don't even know if I'm going to use the uint8 array or not, because sometimes this stuff's more performant and sometimes it isn't. And this is going to be at returns an encoder. And the other one was at returns encoding, right? Or was it at returns encoding? Yeah, these two are... I want to get the names to be less similar on this. All right, so then we can get rid of this. We can get rid of this. And then I guess all we need to do is that right there. And that creates the encoder, except that the encoder also needs these methods to it. So it needs the next method, and it needs, needs the encode method. So I'm going to encapsulate that like this. And I'm just going to put another big chunk of that around there. Okay, let's see. What is it upset about right now? Missing semicolon. Yeah. But what is it actually upset about? What's the thing that's wrong here that doesn't fly? What takes it to the no-fly zone? Oh, probably that I need, let's see, corrupt error. Yeah. So I need to do this. There we are. All right, so now that should be happier. And then I can have this. So we'll say let encoder equals, and then we can do encoder dot next equals, and then we don't need this, and this is function, and then this, let's see, byte un bool param. No, this is nothing here. Okay, so this is just at returns, and then we're going to have it return. Basically, what we want is a tuple. I'm going to call this a cursor. That's what I'm going to call this. We're gonna make a type def here for a cursor. Type def cursor, and that's going to be byte is going to be, I guess, a number. And then we're going to have Boolean is going to be bool. So that's what we'll do. And then at the very end here, we will return byte b and bool. This is kind of weird, but we're going to go with it for now. I'll figure out what that actually means. It probably means continue, and I'll rename it later. But just for now, this is what we're going to call it. So is that, did I even spell cursor right? I don't think I did. Let's see what we got in the comments. Hadrill, switch to Twitch too. All right, sweet. So the way that it works, though, I appreciate this. But I did look into this because I've had 6 or 7 people on Twitch before for the stream. the way that the math works on it is really, really bad. It always rounds down, and it rounds down multiple times. So it rounds down every 5 minutes. It rounds down over the course of the whole entire stream. Then it rounds down over the course of each period. So if I stream every day, that means all 30 streams have to be up above 3 viewers. So really, if you want to account for all the rounding down, the average number of viewers per stream needs to be 10 in order to meet the minimum of 3, more or less. So I don't want to discourage you. I appreciate it and I thank you. But I also just want you to be aware that it is what it is. Okay, so cursor is spelled with an O, I think. I mean cursor as in database cursor. Or I guess this type of cursor as well. Okay, so we typed F a cursor there. And a byte and bool. We'll figure out what that's actually supposed to mean. Okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. Then we need to just put some brackets around this. Or, sorry, parens. Put some parens. So I put some stickers on my keyboard to prevent my keyboard from getting damaged, because it turns out that my fingers are actually, the oil that I have is rather acidic, and so it'll eat through keyboards. And it'll, I mean, maybe everybody's this way and it's just because I'm 8 hours a day at the keyboard. But anyway, so I put some stickers on the keyboard, but they're making the keyboard feel slightly different. But overall, I actually like the texture. These little textured stickers that protect the paint on the keyboard from the acids in my skin. But they also are throwing me off a little bit because it makes the keyboard feel different than what I'm used to. Okay, and so this, I don't need anything here. We don't need to do anything to turn that into a byte, because in JavaScript, a number and a byte are the same thing. So we can get rid of all these byte bobs here. It's good to know, but there's not any real difference. Okay, and then what do we got? So I need to do some lets and get rid of these. I could do this automatically. I could automate this. Let's do that. Okay, and I don't know if JavaScript has an and equals operator. I have to think on that. Okay, and it's this particular file. I'm going to need to adjust my JS hint to allow for, let's see, bitwise. I'm going to have to allow for bitwise here, because I am doing bitwise operations, so I don't want it to freak out. Okay, what is it? Why is it freaking out? Missing semicolon, missing semicolon. Where's the actual parse error? Oh, there it is, if. There we go, there's the parse error. I wish it would distinguish better between, because there is actually, I have two symbols. I have a symbol for error, and I have a symbol for warning, and the warning symbol never gets used. So all right, there's the if. Okay, wait, why is this? What? Okay, yeah, there we go. Cool. All right, so it's a little bit ticked off about this, but otherwise it's okay. Now, this I think actually needs to be called ink, so that it can reference itself as ink inside, if I'm not mistaken. So that should solve that problem. And then I do prefer to do, because so plus plus is for pointer arithmetic. It is specifically to denote that this is pointer arithmetic. And so most people don't even know that, but it doesn't make sense to do a plus plus on an integer, because an integer is not a pointer. Yeah, so plus plus was intended to be used for pointers, and it's just more clear if you do plus equals 1. That's just more clear. Plus plus is not very communicative. All right, let me fix up this function, and then maybe we'll be able to test it before I have to go. Oh, I have to go right now. So that would lend it to, no, we don't have time for me to test it, but I'm going to try anyway. Because there's no time like being late. All right, this is uint8 array is what this is going to be, and we're going to call it dest, and then this is at param, and this is also uint8 array, and this is inc table, and then this is going to return uint8 array. There we go. All right, so this should be called has more, and this should be called X. All right, so I should rename that back up here. This we'll call X, and this is has more. There we go. And now we can do this deconstruction. For, and just put that in there. If not, has more, break. And then again, I don't know if this works without the let, if we can deconstruct this way as well. Let's see what it does here. How upset is it at me? Let's check and see what it says. So it doesn't like this. I think that's silly, but what do you do? I'm going to call this cur. And we're going to do cur.hasmore, and then cur.x, and then we're going to do cur equals. Wait, that doesn't. Oh, okay, that does make sense. That does make sense. And then we're going to return destination. Okay, cool. And the only thing that isn't right here is that DST needs to push onto here. And that's not going to be quite right. Because essentially, so to do switch to array, not uint8 array. I could be wrong. But I don't think that a uint8 array, so let's try a uint8 array of 0. Let's do var a equals a dot push is not defined. Yeah. So I'm going to have to switch that around. But then next session, we'll be able to check and see if this actually works. But I am out for now. Thanks for joining in, all of you. Oh, sorry. Double ampersand? Where? Where was that? I see sorry, the question is not clear enough for me to make a comment on. Let me look here though. Do we even have a double ampersand? I don't think I have a double ampersand anywhere. This one? This one there? I don't know. Never mind, I have to go. Yes, I do have to go. Okay, well, anyway, I'll catch y'all later. I'm going to finish this up because I'm going to use it at work for tokens. Like I said, it's going to be for doing these GitHub style tokens. So I'm going to try to finish that up tonight. And then I think also tonight I'm going to get back to payments. Might have a little bit more to do before that. But anyway, I'm going to go see Spider-Man. Y'all have a great Tuesday, and I will hopefully catch you tonight. All right? So like, sub, click all the things. Check out creedsofcraftsmanship.com and webinstall.dev. And have a good one. Adios. Oh, where did I don't even know where it is anymore. I don't know where my stuff is anymore.